Welcome back to Huawei Connect Live. My name is Chris, and in studio today we are very honored to welcome Randeep Sudan, current board advisor for ecosystem and former global advisor on digital strategy for World Bank. Today we're going to be talking about digital strategies for emerging nations, and I'd like to really get your input and what's your view on what the roadblocks are for implementing digital strategies in emerging nations.
So one of the most important roadblocks is thinking of digital as a vertical. Digital technologies are a pure horizontal, and they are a general purpose technology. So to that extent, the organizational structures of government have to reflect that reality. Number two, there are obviously challenges in developing countries on infrastructure.
Right.
So broadband connectivity, even mobile phones, you may have earlier versions of 2G and 3G technologies. So how do you move to 4G or to now 5G? A third challenge is on skills availability, because developing countries often are just catching up. And last but not least is also the problem which is common to both developed and developing countries, which is that technologies are moving faster than regulation.
What do you think analytics can do to help improve implementation?
Yes, so I think analytics is a very powerful tool, especially in emerging markets. So just to give two examples, if you look at health, there are not enough doctors in developing countries, and often the health infrastructure is not up to speed.
Right.
But digital technologies can bridge that gap between the availability of doctors and the capability to service large populations. Similarly, if you look at education, it is not easy to find very trained teachers, who can train students and bring them into a completely different world, which is digital.
Yeah.
So there again, analytics can play a role in trying to deliver education in a much better and more customized and personalized way as compared to what it has in the past.
What about the short-term, medium-term, long-term goals? What should the emerging nations be thinking about when they're looking to implement a digital strategy?
I feel that one good way of looking at the digital economy is to look at it from a data lens. And in addition to this, you also need good policy, good regulation. You need cybersecurity, which cuts across all these various aspects, and you need skills. So that's the broad picture, which looks at the digital economy from a data lens, which is one perspective, but I think it's a very important perspective.
Interesting.
Now, in the short term, what countries should be doing is to perhaps focus on the foundational elements for this continuum. And then in the medium term, it will be important that countries systematically capture data, and have the means to store and to analyze and to use that data cross-sectorally. And of course, if you look at the long term, in addition to having this broad picture and this broad framework, I also feel that developing countries should focus on something called strategic futures. If I look at successful countries which have done very well on digital, those countries have had a strategic foresight or strategic futures approach to development.
I really appreciate you being with us here at Huawei Connect 2018 to talk to us about emerging nations and their digital strategies. Looking ahead to the future, there's definitely a lot of challenges, but a lot of things to look forward to. So thank you very much for being here with us.
Thank you.